What's up, guys? The Farooqi Bros here, back with another podcast. And today we'll be talking about a bunch of new films, a finale to a TV series, and our what to watch, that weekly recommendation that we give you guys. So let's just get right into it. I want to talk about the upcoming movie, part of the battle for Thanksgiving, which is a big part of American box office. And this year it's going to be between two movies, Gladiator 2 and Wicked. We'll be covering the first of those two movies during this review. So I want to get right into it. And let's talk about some Gladiator. I think maybe I'll go first and give my review right off the bat because Gladiator 1, the original movie from 2000, 2001, I don't know, someone has to keep me honest in the year that came out. But Gladiator 1 is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, I just love that movie. Russell Crowe won Best Picture. Hans Zimmer won Best Score, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, he didn't. He was nominated for Best Score, and it's just literally one of my favorite movies. Just in my opinion, a masterpiece. But the question is, does Gladiator 2, which is coming out like 23, 24 years later, live up to the original? And for me, it's close. So it's like right there. I wouldn't say it's at Gladiator 1 level, but I would say it's just a cut under it. But it's still what I consider an absolute epic. Ridley Scott still in his top form. I think the directing is quite strong. I mean, it's not without, little hiccups here and there, but overall, I think it's one of his stronger works. Really good set pieces throughout. I think they did a great job kind of creating that world that they did. And then Paul Mescal, I think he is quickly becoming one of the premier actors of this generation. I think he's starting to build those foundations. He's not there yet to become, I would say, an A-lister, but he's putting the foundations down. And Gladiator is a big part of that, I think. When it comes out, I think a lot of audiences will love it. But really, and when what I tweeted about, I called it a tour de force, but Denzel Washington's performance is really what I want to highlight, because this guy, this man at close to 70 years old is really still doing his thing. I mean, he's, swinging swords and running around, and I'm like, damn, like even with the stunt double and everything, there's an incredible performance that he's pulled out for this one. And it almost kind of harkens back to some of his stuff in Training Day, and just like, having fun being the villain. And I don't think that's a big spoiler, just being one of the villains of the movie. And then, of course, you have Pedro Pascal, who was great in the role. And then Connie Nielsen, who is returning from the original, was pretty strong as well. I think across the board, you get strong performances from almost everyone. And I think this film overall does honor the original movie while not over-relying on nostalgia, not over-relying on pandering to the original movie and being like, hey, we like almost like we see this with a lot of modern movies where you can't escape the nostalgia. And even when nostalgia is short term, I mean, we can talk ad nauseum of what I feel about Joker 2, which I really didn't like. And one of the reasons is that it just can't escape itself from the first movie, and it just keeps talking about the first movie. This Gladiator 2 is what I call a perfect example of doing a sequel without constantly talking about the original and how great it was. And when they do reference the original, whether it's through sound cues or through little flashbacks, I think they do a really great job at it. The part that I would say was not as strong, but I would say maybe might be just the weakest part of the movie, was the score. I think the score of the film, just especially when you consider what Hans Zimmer pulled off in the first movie, it really doesn't match well. And when they do use a sampling of Hans Zimmer's score, it's like so many leagues and bounds better than what we're getting that I'm like, wow. And there's a part where I think the main theme of this Gladiator plays for the first time, and I'm like, please don't tell me that's going to be the main song. And it ends up being the main soundtrack, and I was a little disappointed with that. But overall, I still think it's one of my favorites of the year. It's not number one, it's not number two, but it's in that top three, top four right now. I haven't decided between like exactly where it sits, but for me, I've kind of settled after a week after watching it. I'm settling at a 4.5 out of 5 as my final score, and that's kind of where I'm looking at. So, Zian, I'll pass the baton to you. What did you think about Gladiator 2?
I agree with pretty much every point you made. I think the performances are really what carried this film. And again, like you said, not the over-reliance on the nostalgia or the pandering. It was just enough to like feed that feeling of, oh yeah, this is where he's coming from. This is the legacy that Maximus left in the first movie, and then it's what's being followed up in the second movie. So I think they did a good job kind of putting the right pieces where they needed to be to still give that feeling, but creating its own thing, its own story, its own narrative without pulling on the original too much. Like I said, the score, anytime the original score played, it just hits so good. It hits so hard. So like you said, the rest of the score was a little weak compared to what Hans Zimmer was able to do in the original. But I think still overall it was fine for what they did. Story was good. It was decent. I feel like I actually agree with one of the comments Josh Paul said. Should have been 30 minutes longer. I agree that this movie had a little room. It needed a little more room to kind of play things out. I feel like things kind of got rushed toward the end, especially with Denzel's character and the things he was doing. It felt like things were moving very fast out of nowhere, and I thought that could have been stretched out a little more subtle, more just give it more breathing room. So that was one knock against it. But I think overall, it was a very strong film. It is in my top three. I do think I like this movie better than Furiosa. I know that'll cause a lot of hatred from people because people say Furiosa is arguably one of the best movies of the year, maybe even number one for a lot of people. But for me, I was more engaged in this film than I was Furiosa. So I'd put this above that, but it's definitely under Dune. So there is kind of like a disparity between the top spot, but it's up there for me as well as one of the best of the year for sure. I ended up giving it a 5 originally, but like you, time passed. I kind of thought about it, reevaluated, thought things I didn't like. I did bump it down to a 4.5, which I think is more fair.
Yeah, and again, I'm kind of with you on that. I think that we're pretty even on the score, pretty even on that. Also, with one of the comments, like you said, the CGI was rough. I do want to point out there was points where I agree. I was like, this is a pretty high budget movie. I mean, it doesn't look as crisp as it should. I mean, there's a scene with a couple of monkeys that jumped in. I was just like, this doesn't look 2024-ish, but I don't know. So, and I just feel like there's a scene in the first movie where they use like a tiger, and it was also CGI from my understanding, for at least most of it, and it just looked better than the things they were pulling off this movie. There's stuff in the trailer. I mean, the trailer does have a scene with some water stuff, so I don't want to get into too much what happened in that scene, but some of it did kind of take me out. I was like, okay, this is interesting. I'll take it. I do think the conversation about like historical accuracy is just a bunch of kind of hoopla because it's not meant to be accurate. It's not meant to be a real story. But yeah, and then you're right about things left on the cutting room floor. We know Ridley Scott's directing style. He shoots a lot, and then whether it's by the studio mandate or through himself, he ends up cutting. And I'm sure there's a 3-hour, 4-hour cut of this movie, which is more. And there's a couple of great actors that I heard was left on the cutting room floor. I think May Kalamawi was cut out of the movie. I'm not sure exactly what the circumstances were of that. I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth on why, but if I'd be pretty upset if she got cut for any of her potential views, especially on Palestine. So I don't know what that is, but I do want to put it out there that this is something that's been discussed. Why she got cut, why her scenes got removed out of the movie, I'm not sure, but I do want to point out there that there's a discussion about that. And as soon as I found out more about that, I think it might be a future topic that we'll deep dive into. But so let's just see how that goes. It's coming out this coming weekend. So let's see how it does in the box office. I mean, I'm not sure it's going to beat Wicked. I mean, people are talking about that a lot. I don't know how we feel about it. We haven't seen it yet, but there's a lot of controversy over that one as well. So let's see how that looks like as we get into it. And then, yeah, we'll revisit this topic next week as I find more about kind of the behind the scenes of Gladiator 2. So from there, let's just move on from the film side to the TV side, because I want to have a minute to talk about one more comment. As an Indian, shout out to Ravi. I mean, this actor Ravi was pretty good. Like, I'll give him that. That character was interesting. He was like interestingly put into the movie. But yeah, let's talk about TV side. Let's go to Penguin's finale, because this has been probably one of DC's best shows in quite a few years. I'm not thinking what's the last time DC created like a flagship good television show? Probably Watchmen on the HBO side, but it's been a minute. So let's discuss Penguin. I mean, we talked about it once or twice throughout its runtime, but now that it's over, I want to kind of look at the whole show holistically and be like, hey, did it work? What score did we get it? And so on and so forth. And Umar, I want to throw you right into the mix and start with you on this one. What did you think about Penguin, the season finale, and the season as a whole?
I think they actually landed. They stuck the landing. I think the ending was good. As a show, obviously holistically, I think they did an amazing job. Everything that a good show should have, I think they did really well. The only thing that was okay, so I feel like the first 3, 4 episodes were really good, and then it like dropped off a little bit, and then they just like stuck the landing, so it all feels good. You know how like when a show does good at the end, good in the beginning, it just feels like the whole show just was good. I feel that's the feeling I had with the Penguin. Um, so yeah, and I think obviously, I'm forgetting who played Sophia Falcone, but she she like stole the show and everything she was in. I think obviously Colin Farrell did an amazing job, and I'm hoping that they actually utilize him a lot more in the Batman 2. I know that there's like a discussion over like I think one of them, I don't know if it's Matt Reeves or someone else, that said he's only like there's like 5 or 6 scenes that he's in the Batman 2. Obviously that could potentially change, but I think utilizing him more, just like this show shows that you should utilize the Penguin a lot more, especially now that you have a really good actor doing that whole performance correct. Um, I think underrated part of the show is actually the score. I think they scored it really well. The score was really good. But yeah, overall, amazing, solid.
Yeah, I'm on the same kind of train of thought as you. In fact, in terms of attributing that quote, it was Colin Farrell himself who said that he only has about 5 or 6 scenes that he shot in for Batman 2. But honestly, if that's kind of how I would like it. I mean, if he's just like an organic part of the universe and is just continuing to build in the second film where Penguin won't be the main villain, but the reverberations of what happened in the series reflect into the next show where he is basically, I mean, spoilers for who hasn't seen the show, but he is now kind of king of the castle in Gotham now, and he's running the show on the criminal side and the mob side of things, and how that's going to work. And in the end, they tease that he's going into politics and how that might work into potential Court of Owls. I don't know, but I'm really interested in what that can kind of spawn into. I'm very interested in the Matt Reeves universe now. I mean, he calls it the Batman Crime Saga, and when he first revealed that name for his verse, I was like, I don't know, like super grounded Batman, is it going to work or not? But you know what? Now after Penguin, I'm kind of back in. I'm like, let's just see. Excuse me. Let's just see where he goes with this universe and see where it ends up. But Zian, you are the resident Batman fan, so let's get your thoughts on this version of Penguin. I mean, we've seen tons of Penguin on live action. We've seen a ton of Penguins in the animation, comics, etc. But do you think that this was a worthwhile, like it did its job?
I think it definitely did a really great job. It showed Penguin in a somewhat unique way based on what we've seen in shows or video games. It showed him as like you rarely get to see him kind of starting up as kind of this lowly, dismissed criminal that's trying to work his way up the organizations. And you get a much greater look at the type of person he is and type of character he has. Like one big fear I know everybody has that, don't make him have like, a tragic backstory, make people sympathize with him, feel bad for him, because that's kind of how it does start. Like it's almost like a fake, and I think they did a great job, the showrunners and Matt Reeves and whoever's involved, kind of giving people that false sense of, you kind of feel bad for Oz. He's just kind of like this goofy guy, he's a dumb guy, he's just trying hard, And then as the episodes go on, you see he really is just, even from when he was a kid, he was just like the worst person. And they did not absolve him any of his crimes or the things he did. Like he continued to be a horrible person right to the last second of the show. And I think that was just a terrific choice that they made to show that, this guy, he's a bad person. He did everything bad coming to him, it deserved as well. And I think that was just a smart decision on their part, not to be like, cop out, let's feel bad for him. He had a bad childhood or something, when he was just kind of the cause of everything, all of his problems. So that was definitely a good thing. What I like especially about the finale and kind of where they went with it is what they ended up doing with Penguin. I know we had a discussion in private in the group chats about it, but they kind of put him in a place where now he is kind of like a front-facing businessman, but in the background, he's like mastermind of the criminal enterprise with kind of his relations to like the corrupt senators and people of that nature. So it's kind of showing that they're taking Penguin into a better place, kind of where I want them to be, where he could be more involved public facing now, rather than just being, this is just a criminal guy, cops arrest him on the spot. I like that he kind of has that power now to be public facing. And somebody made a comparison, or they showed like 2 pictures on Twitter of his clothes at the end, his tux he was wearing. It's like exactly what the OG Batman series design was, where he's wearing black tux, gold vest, white shirt. So I was like, I wonder if that's a nod as well or not. But I thought it was just, I think the rise and kind of where his character went from beginning to end of the show, they did a great job with that. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him in the next film. And he also slipped in that interview that he signed up for 3 films. So that's obviously good to know, but hopefully that actually goes through without any interference. But I thought it was really good. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, our boy FRQ, he jumps in saying that I think the name is perfect for referring to the Batman Crime Saga. perfect way to sum them up, because let's be honest, everyone is tired of multiverse level threats. Citywide crime is what we need from a Batman verse now. And it's an interesting argument because this is something that the Spider-Man fandom is arguing about day and night when it comes to Spider-Man 4. Like, some of the fandom wants a multiverse Spider-Man film where he's reunited with Tobey and Andrew and kind of going back into the mix. And some people just want a really low level street epic where he's just fighting Kingpin or whatever the case might be. And it's like this fight between it, and Batman's in a very similar shape because, I mean, we just came off of the Snyderverse where Batman was, about to fight Darkseid, and now we're kind of back to Batman fighting his own rogues gallery in a much more grounded version. And it is people on both sides of the fence. I do think the majority prefer what's happening right now. Like, they just prefer Batman in his universe fighting his rogues gallery, and we'll probably get with Superman now fighting his rogues gallery, et cetera, and not doing the big crossovers. And Marvel's, that ship's about to blow up too. I think once you finish the Secret Wars and finish this phase of Marvel, you can't help, it has to go back to being grounded and then restart with X-Men and Fantastic Four as your base, with Spider-Man, of course, being, the main guy. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are getting tired of multiverse. I do think there's maybe one or two movies to squeeze from it, but there's movies like The Flash that just like destroyed that concept so badly that I think everyone's just like, yo, we're tired of seeing that. We don't want to see multiverse anymore. Which is funny because when No Way Home came out, there was like this excitement that, oh, multiverse, we want to see it, but now I think no one will see it anymore.
I think it's gonna be tough with Spider-Man.
If they brought Christian Bale, it'd be different. They brought Michael Keaton. Who cares?
No one wanted to see Michael Keaton in the back of the Nicholas. And then what was that, a Chris Reeve like AI CGI thing that showed up?
Yo, Grass was losing it, bro. You so happy to see that.
I mean, I was okay with it. I mean, but it's not a great movie, also, obviously.
Also with Tom Holland Spider-Man, I don't think you can actually go back. I don't think it's a weird, because you've already seen him now at that level. I think it'd be very hard for you to.
I feel like the end of No Way Home actually set it up. I thought they were like, he's very poor now. He's just like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man living in a small apartment. Everyone forgot him, and he's just in New York City. I feel like that's actually a pretty good spot to keep him that way. But instead, apparently, from what the rumors are, he's getting pulled into. I mean, the movie's scheduled to come out in between Avengers 5 and Avengers 6. So because of that, I think where the movie's being left off in a potential cliffhanger, I think Spider-Man has to deal with the repercussions of that, which is why it'll likely be a multiverse movie. But I don't know. Spider-Man.
This guy went off, bro. He called Toby poor.
I mean, yeah, he's poor in that movie. He's like barely making rent. The door's not even closing in his apartment. I think that's part of his charm.
He'll pay the rent when they fix his damn door, bro. What are you talking about?
I know, but will the door get fixed? One more thing about Penguin, because everyone's been talking about it. That final sequence of Vic and his death scene, I mean, that was considered like, it went immediately viral. Everyone's talking about it. It's like the point of no return for Penguin. I feel like once that happens, it's like it's over. But Umar, I want to get your quick thoughts on that one. Like, did you expect that to happen? Were you surprised by that? That whole character arc for Vic, where you build him up for 11 episodes, 10 episodes, and just for his death scene to be like just right there and happens in kind of a brutal way. What's your thoughts on that?
I thought it was gonna happen. I thought he was gonna shoot him, to be honest, but I saw it coming because like the way the storyline's in my head, I was thinking like, because he killed his brothers, I had a feeling that like, all right, he's gonna kill his kid. Like, that's gonna be because you can't leave off the story with like him being good in any respect. Like, he has to be evil in everything. And I thought that that's something that's just gonna happen. At the same time, it was like very like weird and slow, which I didn't like. I thought you just shoot him, but like,
I think that built the tension more, honestly. The fact that it was slow is like, are you actually gonna pull this off? And you kill him by choking him, which is like, he gets to feel every moment of dying right there. It's not a one.
They mentioned that, like, if you saw the end of the episode, they always do like the behind the scenes stuff. So I was like, all right, for the last one, I'll just see what they did. And they mentioned it. They said that they made it long to make it feel very uncomfortable for the viewer. Like, you actually feel like, all right, you have to just watch it as happening over like for such a long stretch, a couple of minutes. It's like you really get the feeling of it. Like, you're just choking the life out of him. And it was like purposely they stretched it out to make the viewer uncomfortable. Like, Penguin's like just a horrible, horrible guy in every sense.
Yeah. For me, I ultimately gave the series a 4.5, or it could go down to 4 as time goes on. But it's one of my favorite shows. It's not my favorite show of 2024. That still goes to Lord of the Rings, but this is right under it, and I was quite happy with overall how it did. Scores for Umar and Zian. What do you guys give it finally?
I think 4 out of 5 is fair.
Yeah, For me, 4 out of 5, just because there's points in the show. Like there's like 2 episodes where it's too slow. Like I get why they had to do it, but yeah, because of that, I have to give it a 4 now. 4 points.
Very last point, I do like that they kept Sophia alive because I want to see how they kind of bring her into Batman again. Like, does she have a role in that universe?
That whole thing was interesting. What is she? She's the half sister of.
Yeah, half sister. They both have the same dad. Selena Kyle and her have the same dad. So
yeah,
that's an interesting take.
I wonder
that actress. I know she's a TV actress, right?
Yeah, but she's
But
I think
she's good,
movies too. Yeah,
yeah. I think using her in some kind of Court of Owls play is just such a layup. Like, I think that's the right move to go. But let's see. But yeah, let's go from there back to the film side of things. I want to talk about the new movie Heretic that just came out. And Samir, we're starting with you on this one because you've been quiet the whole time, so we're pulling you in for this topic. What did you think about this new film?
I thought this film was very intriguing in the horror mystery aspect of the film. I think the way it was told, the way it was shot, and Hugh Grant's character and his performance, I think he shines in this role. He carries the movie throughout. But for me, that's like kind of where the positives of this film sort of end. I mean, I know that A24 kind of marketed this film around the whole blueberry, like they want to make theater smell like blueberry, and that was really only a point in the film for like the first 20-30 minutes. And when that reveal kind of happened, I think that's where the movie kind of peaked for me, because after that it was kind of delved into the character's motivations, and I kind of didn't find him all that compelling. I think he became sort of like a Reddit atheist kind of guy, which kind of took like the aura, like the mysterious aura off of his character. And I think when everything was when the mystery was kind of revealed, it became sort of Glass Onion-esque, where he's kind of just a dumb guy trying to riff off of whatever's happening. As soon as he mentions like the world of simulation theory kind of thing, I'm like, this film is kind of over. And it didn't really match how his character. By the end of the film, it's revealed that he's just a creep, just a weirdo after all, like the Radiohead song that he keeps referring to. And I think that's kind of where it fell off for me. But I do like how interesting it was with the build-up. I just wish they kind of landed better with his character.
I did see some people comparing. I haven't seen the movie myself yet, but I saw people comparing some of that like latter half of the movie to Long Legs. I don't know if that's actually something that actually plays into it, where like he's once like the main part of the movie happens, where Long Legs, let's say, when he gets exposed, and then afterwards you're kind of dealing with just the repercussions the rest of the way, and rather than like the main thing. I don't know if you saw it through, but I saw a couple of people discussing that in their reviews. But let's just see. I don't know.
I think the problem with that Longlegs comparison is that Longlegs had that supernatural element, whereas Heretic kind of referenced it or kind of was trying to build onto it, but at the end it wasn't that at all. He was just kind of the mastermind with it was super grounded, no real supernatural elements to it. But the supernatural part of it was the most interesting part, and that's why it kind of fell off towards the end.
Well, Zan, where do you wait? Samir, what score did you give it?
I give it a 3.5. It's okay, but not the best.
Well, Zan, you heard Samir's thoughts on it. Where do you stand on it from your point of view?
I pretty much agree with everything he said. I do think that first kind of hour of it, where he's just kind of like this ambiguous guy, and they're sitting in the living room, they're talking about it, and he keeps going into the dark hallway and saying, "Oh yeah, my wife is just in the other room." That tension building, I thought, was kind of like the best part of it. I was very engaged. But then, yeah, as the reveals keep happening with the blueberry, the scent, and everything, and then as he like disappears in the hallway and they try to leave and the door's locked, that stuff was like, all right, I'm engaged in the film, and it made the thriller aspect of it kind of high. But then, like we said, as they got into the next room and they started talking about his like dime store religious debate type stuff, it was like, okay, it's very base level. Like they focused so much on that, it kind of like deterred the movie for me a little bit. It's like, all right, like how much more are you gonna keep explaining that? Oh yeah, religions are this, that, and monopoly boards, and everything's an iteration of each other and whatever. I thought it just kept going on and on for too long, and it kind of just deferred from what the movie should have been, in my opinion. I think that was good as a linchpin of his like kind of madness, but it just wasted too much time on that and kind of slowed the movie down unnecessarily, in my opinion. But I think there was a lot of points where like the disbelief door and the belief door. They should have done more things like that where there was a divide between the two girls and kind of going different paths. But in the end, it all led to the same place. So I was like, okay, I don't know what the point of that was, but I think as the movie went on, it kind of just fell apart a little bit more and more. I was still engaged. I thought it was still an interesting movie. Like Samir said, there was kind of that play of what's supernatural and what's not. But then when the reveal happens, it was kind of disappointing. But I think that's even still it kind of just to reveal that he's just an insane guy, just has his own weird philosophy. And then he's doing this to these people, these like missionaries or any person who kind of comes into his house. I thought that was interesting. But some parts kind of fun where like Topher Grace's character, he's like coming knocking on the door. And it's like, oh, is he gonna find them or not? I thought those kind of scenes in this type of movie are always good. But I think though it kind of fell down a little bit in quality, or at least writing wise, as the film went on. I think the end was really good with like the whole butterfly thing, and you kind of know, okay, what happened to her at the end with the symbolism that she just mentioned beforehand with what happened if she died and whatnot. So I thought to end it that way was pretty strong because though obviously you know what happened to her, at least the guy has been defeated. So I thought that was interesting. And then it was good. I did enjoy it. But there were places where they could have improved. For me, the score is somewhere between, I gave it a 4, but in my review, I said it's somewhere between a 3.5 and a 4. So in reality, I'd give it like 3.75, but I like Hugh Grant's performance, so I gave it 4.
Fair enough. The only scene I've ever seen is a Jar Jar Binks scene, so that's what I'm going off of.
The score was kind of goofy at times. Like they're trying to make their points, but they keep referencing like the strangest, most Gen Z mainstream things. I think the Monopoly board thing. There was like a Bob Ross Monopoly board. He references Lana Del Rey. He starts singing Radiohead. He does the Jar Jar Binks part. He meows in one of the scenes. I mean, it's just. I mean, he carries the movie throughout, though. But
yeah,
weird.
Cool. So as we wind down, we have one quick topic before we head into our last one, and that's The Order. Movie just came out. Zion, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I thought it's pretty good. There's Jude Law, Nicholas Hoult, Journey Smollett, and I forgot the other guy's name, but it was a solid movie. It's very similar to Black Klansman. It's based on a real life event that happened. I think it was in Denver with like a different sect of the KKK that kind of broke off from what the one that's established, and being like, okay, we got to start this actual revolution, and I should take up arms and not be just taking slow wins and really just fight for it now. And I think Nicholas Hoult did an incredible job as like the leader of that other cult that kind of broke off from KKK, and they call themselves the Order. And I think the movie is very interesting with Jude Law as like kind of this grizzled FBI guy, and they're trying to catch him, and the interactions, the dynamics between them. It was just an engaging film, and I think being based on real life definitely added also that level of engagement to the film, because like, okay, this happened, this is a real thing that happened, and there's organizations the FBI had to take down. And I think just with solid performances, good action, I think it just was an interesting film, and I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5. Just a solid film. It was good, and I think there was definitely room for improvement, but again, since it's based on a real story, you can't really do too much. But I think for the narrative that they're trying to tell, it was engaging, and this type of film I'm always enjoy. So I thought it was pretty good.
Cool. So let's go into our final topic, which is the what to watch. As always, it doesn't have to be a movie. It could be a TV show. It could be a video game. It could be anything that you think that's interesting that you want people to check out this coming week. I don't know who wants to go first. I mean, should I put Samir on? Won't put Samir. Okay, I'll put myself. Right. It's time to put on my, my truther hat, because I'm gonna be a truther for Dragon Ball GT, because there's too much hate for it these days. I have to talk about it now, because GT, I'll be honest, I'm kind of cooking sometimes. So
this is not the hill down.
Yeah, so I'm. This is the hill. This is the hill. GT, I'm telling you, if you take out the first season, they're kind of cooking. Like, take out the first season, right? Take out the first season. Start at the Baby Saga. Start there. And you know what? When you watch some of the Baby Saga, I'm kind of revisiting it. It's not that different from Goku Black. If you make it different, then you're just looking at it with different glasses. It's quite similar. And then the arc is pretty strong. Super Saiyan 4 might be one of the best designs they've ever cooked up for Dragon Ball. Let's be honest. So even Zion can't disagree with that.
Of course, you're hanging on to the one good thing.
Big Four is pretty good.
The only good thing, the best thing out of the show.
All right, Super 4 is pretty good. All right, then the 17 saga, okay, Super 17. Yeah, there's some problems there. There's a lot of problems there. But you know what? If you just look at the Baby Saga and the final Shadow Dragon Saga, it's pretty good. And I wanted to show one last thing because in Dragon Ball Diamond, which is airing, and I do quite enjoy it, very nostalgic. There's this whole thing where Shenron is kind of like he's like a comedic character now, and he's always like, regulars get extra wishes, and they're just like having fun with the material. Where GT, dared to ask the question that maybe you guys have abused it. It asked the hard questions, and was the execution perfect? No. Is it like a 2.5 out of 5? Yes. But am I still going to recommend it? Of course. So this is why.
So you're a big fan of Vegeta with different hair and a mustache now suddenly.
Again, that's the first season. So just take out the first season, get yourself into season 2, and you're there. Season 1 is kind of like Daima, but Daima's better with execution, but it's similarities, okay? Just take out Pansy for Pan and take out the other people for the same characters. It's similar.
Very, very bad Trunks.
GT for Dragon Ball Super. Okay, Dragon Ball Super is better, but it's not like 1 billion times better. And I guarantee if GT came out today with today's graphics, people would just say it's better. Good too. It's just the time, It's the time. It followed right after Z, and it's a huge gap. It's from quality from Z, and that made the problem. But if you waited 20 years and you brought GT out, people would have been like, "Oh, it's been 20 years. I just missed the characters," like they did with Super, and they eat it up. And I'll be honest, say what you want to say. Kid Goku in GT acts more adult than Goku in Super. So that's just I'm putting out there. Tell me I'm wrong.
That's the only true thing. That's the only thing. Adult Goku in Super is an idiot.
Okay, I've been watching Super also a little bit again, but Super, yeah, like Usman's jumping in. Super carries because the Goku Black arc is very strong, and the Tournament of Power is fairly strong. I think the first Beerus arc is pretty good, just as the movie. Resurrection F is a nightmare, as both a story and both sides a nightmare. And Universe 6 vs 7, I'll be honest, the whole thing about Monaka, like that guy who's there. GT does the exact same thing with other characters, and we all say, "Oh, it's so bad." It was the same type of silliness, but whatever. That's beyond the point.
Nobody said that Dragon Ball Super is a perfect show, but like Usman said in the comment, arcs like Goku Black just hard carried over everything in GT. Let's be honest.
Again, the Baby Saga is quite similar.
It's so bad. It's not
similarities. The motivation is not similar.
It's not similar. I'm tired of the same old, another world that Saiyan's destroyed and now he has to get revenge, or something like that. I don't even know what it's about. I forgot.
That only happened once. It happened in GT. All right. So, all right. So that's done. I did my thing. Now, Samir, I'm putting you on the next one. So what is your what to watch? I'm sure you have something in the letterbox.
Ask Zion next. So
all right, Zion, jump in.
I have to look at my letterbox. I can't think of it.
No one prepared. All right, Umar, you go. What are you recommending?
And don't recommend the Penguin. Don't cop out.
No, I'm not gonna cop out.
And you can't do Surf's Up either again.
Surf's Up fire, but anyways, I recommend every night or every other night, rather, every 2 nights. There's a man named LeBron James. Okay, greatest man ever, greatest player ever in basketball history. Go watch that. Okay, watch the greatest ever. That's it.
I mean, I didn't know Michael Jordan was suiting up, but LeBron James saying, I'm pretending. Yo, this guy dropped 4 triple doubles in a row. Game winner last night. He's cooking, so I'm with you.
And he's 40 freaking years old, bro. Doug. Don't ever talk to me about Michael Jordan ever again. I hate Michael.
Michael Jordan.
He's just Michael now. He's not even Michael Jordan. He's a Michael to me.
Just call him Jeffrey.
Okay, that's a little bit too much. That's too far.
His middle name. Just call him by his middle name.
Even for us LeBron fans, that's too far. Can't call someone by their middle name, bro. What's your middle name, Grass?
Just Zan, go give your.
I guess I can't think of anything, and since you recommended it, since you already mentioned it during the Gladiator review, I guess I'll recommend Training Day. Is just one of Denzel's best performances, and like you said, when he gets to play like more of a villainous or morally ambiguous character, he just kind of runs away with the role. And I think Training Day, he was obviously one of his best examples where he did that. So once you watch Gladiator, if you didn't get that Denzel fix enough, definitely check out Training Day if you haven't seen it. most people must have because it's obviously one of the best films.
See, both Zion and Samir, they take the cinema and cinema debate seriously because every time I do this topic, they don't do anything that's not a movie. Like me and Umar, we have fun with it. This is the time to have fun. We go out of the comfort zone. I went to TV, he went to sports. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't do Dexter New Blood or something. But now,
watch. I don't know. That's what Charles mentioned because he put me on to Dexter, but it was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good. So I guess watch Dexter.
Also, just watch Dexter. All right, now it's Samir's turn.
I guess I got no movies, so I'll recommend a show.
Say Ice Age.
I haven't finished it. I don't even know if it's good, but I'll recommend Normal People. I like Paul Mescal, and I like the Irish accent, but that's really all I was going for right now. 5 episodes.
I guess then that's something. I mean, no one has a video game or anything to play. I guess that's it.
This guy was going to say Ice Age, bro. Say
Ice Age 6 is coming out. Ice Age 6 is coming out. I don't know what the topics could be. I don't know where you want to see Manny come back and do his thing, but there was a topic.
I want to see. Yeah, I just want to see Toy Story. Was it 4 or 5 or 6 now? What is it? What are we on now?
5, but
we never covered the real topics like Ice Age 6 and the Mike Tyson fight.
I mean,
talking about Gladiator too.
I give you a quick Mike Tyson fight right now, Samir. What did you think
Tyson
about the
fight? Why did this happen? Huge disrespect. Insane. Why would they even do this? Mike Tyson could barely walk. Then he tweeted after that he like almost died or something earlier this year, and I don't know why. I don't know why that even happened. Destroyed his legacy. I mean, Jake Paul he's the biggest fraud of all time. It's only been confirmed now. I mean, we already knew it, but what a fraud, and I hate him. I hate him.
Okay, Omar, you next. I mean, Tyson versus Paul. I'll add as an official topic because he got like 80 million viewers, so it's something,
Okay, first of all, let me tell you something. It was rigged. Okay, that's number one. Let me tell you why it was rigged. Okay, Mike Tyson could have punched him and killed him, but he chose not to because they told him, all right, you got to go 8 rounds, and you got to let Jake Paul win because new guy on the block or whatever. Right? Because Mike Tyson he still has the power to punch him. He has the power to kill him. Okay, he could have bit his ear off or something, but he didn't. He respected the man, got paid, got out.
Listen, the real fight was with Netflix.
Rigged.
They do not have the capacity to do something like this again. Everything was just breaking down, and I was using Charlotte's Netflix, so I don't know.
I think that they also made it with NFL, so not NFL also be streaming. Let's see if they can pull this off. But yeah, Netflix, I don't think they're ready for that live game yet. Like going live and doing something. They should have had a 5-second delay or something. But for me, the fight. Listen, I'm not a big fan of the Paul brothers. Like from my just for entertainment value, it's just a bit too arrogant for my taste. But
aren't they the same age as you? You kind of remind me of them sometimes.
Yeah, we're all in one generation. I mean, you're the same age, the same group too. But we're all one generation. But it's just not my I've never been that much into that world of entertainment. Let's just say. So obviously, I was rooting for Tyson, but I was feeling quite sad, honestly, watching the fight because by the time you got to that second, third round, really it was the third round where his legs gave out, and then you got to see oh wait a minute, this guy is 60 years old, and even if tomorrow Michael Jordan started running one-on-one with KSI, I would have been like, why are we watching this either? It's the same deal. I don't want to see it. And at that
first
point,
of all, that analogy makes no sense because Michael Jordan played one-on-one with KSI, he destroyed him.
Okay, Michael Jordan's getting old too.
Michael Jordan probably run.
Basketball's different. I think if you're old in basketball, you can still pull it off because just having your shooting stroke down. But for boxing,
you can still play. You can still play with me.
Our age gap is less than 3 years, Omar. But all right. Either way, I mean that was my thoughts on the fight. I don't know if you have any big thoughts on the fight, but it was a fight.
It was so ass. I'm telling you, it was the worst.
I feel bad. I was just ended. I'll give it. I have to bow at the end when he bowed to Tyson, giving his flowers. I'm like, I bet. I know the show. Either way, there was a big topic, in the wider sphere of the FRQ verse that was happening a couple of days ago. I just have to throw it out there. And one of our boys, he threw out the concept that, how come all 4 of us, the Farooqi Bros, we are exactly one of the Ice Age members, and that leads to the discussion of which which one are we of each one? I mean, if that is the case, if we have to be one of these four, who would we be? Who would it be? That's the question.
There's
That's
nothing I hate more than the Ice Age franchise. Nothing.
Yet you are one of the characters. Funny. All right, Umar, you have to decide. We'll leave it to you. There's a big tie break in the group chat. So you
All right,
have to
I'll be.
who is who in this? Who is who?
Okay, Grass, you're obviously the mammoth. All right, I'm not.
I stop messing around. You know his name, say it.
Say his name. Say his name.
Say his name.
I actually forgot his name, to be honest.
It's
I don't
Manny.
like it.
Manny,
Yeah,
bro.
you're Manny, and then Zane is probably the lion thing or whatever that thing is called.
From the Sabretooth.
The saber-tooth thing, yeah. And then Samir's the I can't believe I'm the sloth, but Samir's the friggin' other thing, whatever it is.
The squirrel.
The squirrel, yes, Samir's the squirrel.
And you're the sloth?
And I'm unfortunately yes.
Well, see, I agree with that also. That's how I would do it also. But as an alternate theory from our boy Usman, he's like, no, I'm the mammoth. Zion is the squirrel. Samir is Oscar, which I'm guessing is the sloth.
Bag is awesome.
And Umar's the dog thing, which is Sabretooth, which is more of a
Although the
cat.
dog thing was Oscar.
God,
No,
you're
the
done.
dog thing
You're
is
done.
what's his name? Right? What's the Sabretooth's name? This is why we need this guy Balan, bro. But what's the Sabretooth's name?
Zane,
I
bro.
know this for sure. I gotta remember it off the dome.
The Sabretooth's Oscar. Manny is the mammoth. Sid is the sloth. And I don't know the squirrels.
Oh yeah, Sid is the sloth, yeah. And the squirrel's Scrap.
Oscar is the Sid guy. Sid is his name.
No, this is not it, bro. The dog is Johnny. What, bro? Watch the bootleg copy. Bro, watch the bootleg.
Bro, what's the number 2 copy, bro? What you
Yeah,
saying?
you are the number 2.
Number 2, bro. You're the number 2 Ice Age, bro. There's no way. I mean, yeah. I mean, preferably, I want to get my hairstyle like Manny, but it's getting there.
Yes, Severe kind of got Manny cut happening right now.
It's so true. Yo, look at that. It's the same cut.
What?
You have the Manny cut, bro. Look at the.
You got
cut
the
on
Manny
man.
curls going on.
I don't. I got
It's the same hairstyle, bro. Like low key.
a part in the middle.
Fair enough. Close enough. Either
That's
way,
true,
see
actually.
that was
What's it?
That
The
was a
little
real
favorite
good
favorite, the middle part? It's easy to drink.
Yeah.
You know.
he got that ish on though. All right, close got hat. But what Ice Age 6 will look like, who knows? It's a topic for another day.
I
We have
won't be there. I won't be there. That's all I can say.
I'll be there because we have to discuss
Yo,
the whole
trust me.
concept.
Yeah.
It's not a topic for today, but we've discussed Toy Story 5 versus Ice Age 6 versus Shrek 5 or Shrek 6, whatever Shrek's coming out, and what these movies can possibly be. That's a real topic.
Yeah, I say 6 is like that meme of the Gucci bag breaking, like, oh, let it go, bro. Yeah.
Oh, but simultaneously, you want to see the new Shrek. Interesting.
Okay. Shrek is like a universally recognized iconic franchise. Nobody cares about Ice Age. Nobody.
Yet there's a 6 movie
Like, they
coming
don't
out.
care about Ice Age now.
I can't.
Yo, they made Samir's generation loves Ice Age, bro.
It's true.
Okay, and now that's why that generation is like, a
Poison.
little behind on things.
Either way, Toy Story 5 is not might not make it out either. This whole like concept of the villain being 1 million Buzz Lightyears. I don't know about all that, to be honest.
Oh,
Brain will eat it up.
Shrek
Yeah,
over
we'll
under
eat it
9
up.
movies. I'll take the over. Depends how many years you want to put it for. I think we'll get to 10 Shrek movies.
I'm calling it right now. Zane is
Universe?
gonna be there day 0, bro. Gonna be
For
there
which
day
one? Ice Age? For what? For
Ice
what?
Age, bro. Ice Age.
What about Shrek 6?
That trailer's gonna hook him, bro. I'm telling you.
What about Shrek?
I will not even be there for the
I
trailer.
love Shrek, bro. He's gonna be there day -1.
And then Toy Story 5 will be there too?
Yeah, day 1.
All right. Either way,
The sad thing is that Grass is gonna eat it all up. Every single thing.
Listen, I just like playing like the opposite side to Zion because I also don't like Ice Age that much, but I'll just still defend it. But I just like doing the other side of the argument. But either way, what do you guys think about all the topics we discussed? Let us know in the comments below to join the debate. From myself, from Zion, from Umar, and from Samir, we're the Farooqi Bros, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.